I think then this session is going to be very relevant for all of you because our guest for today, Gunjan Chandrayan sir, has worked in Deloitte, not just Deloitte, but he has worked in another big four, KPMG, and he has also worked in Capgemini as well. And today we will understand from him what is the secret sauce for cracking these companies. How does it it feels like working in this company? What is his personal experience? What kind of questions that can be asked in the interviews for all the profiles? What is that, how, what makes all this profile different, and what would be few things that as an interview candidate you should take care of, and tips and strategies that we should work upon to clear our interview. So, Gunjasan, I think it's 8:02 and a good time to kickstart our session. So, before we move on to the technical part of the session, Gunjan sir, firstly, welcome to this podcast. On behalf of the entire audience, I welcome you here. Thank you for agreeing for this podcast and taking time out to be here. And we want to know a lot from you, and I'm personally very excited for this session. And I think apart from the audience, this session is also going to help me to learn a lot about the big fours. So Gunjan sir, we want to you to firstly take us your corporate journey, and to share what you are doing now, and how was your entire experience. So I think let us begin by knowing you better. I know you have more than 22 years of experience, and then you have worked in Deloitte, you have worked in KPMG, you have worked in Capgemini. You are as of now working on your own venture, Wisdom Rivers, and I have met you personally as well. So, okay, that is something we know broadly about you, but something in detail, that can help our audience to know you better, and to make them understand why you are the right speaker for this particular topic. Over to you, Gunjan sir.
Great. Thank you, Saksham, for the wonderful introduction. And I am also excited to do this session with you and for the audience, especially uh, all the students from Indore looking to make their career, and even beyond the other cities, wherever we could reach out and help them get into the session. Saksham, I think it is relevant for the entire participants to understand, and maybe some of them might have already visited my profile, LinkedIn profile, saw something there.
Right.
I did not start my career with Deloitte. It happened. It was a journey. I could reach there as a milestone, perhaps, and that is back. If I look back, September 18th was the joining date in 2006 when I first joined Deloitte,
Okay.
and
This month only.
this month only.
Right.
So yes, I was there. Just like each of these participants in the campus, trying to get started, in their career journey. And 2003 was the year when I was looking to kind of start my career. Many of students may not have clarity in terms of what kind of job roles they will be suited for, what kind of function they really want to make a career in, what kind of industry they want to get into. And many a times we end up making a choice based on the options which are available to us in the campus, and if not in the campus, outside campus, whatever we
Right.
can get.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that's how my journey started. And I
Right.
started as a researcher in a KPO industry, knowledge process outsourcing, and that was the industry which was at very nascent stage in 2003. And uh, over the next 3 years of my career, I worked with small firms in research, in software technology, roamed around different cities. I did my MBA from Hyderabad, so Hyderabad was the place to get started. But 1 year later, I was in Bangalore. 10 months later, I was in Gurgaon. And 6 months later, I was in Mumbai, and then back to Hyderabad in 2006 in Deloitte. Uh, so essentially, it didn't start as a milestone. It was a journey which I traveled through, perhaps. And when I look back, I see every each of those moves were kind of the guiding light, were making the path towards what I could do better, where I could see my future. And many of us aspire to work with known brands, MNCs, where we could associate ourselves and take pride in working with those companies. And that's how the first thing which happened was Capgemini in 2005, and then in 2006 I joined Deloitte into strategy and competitive intelligence team, and that's when the team was being set up. I had some prior experience in competitive intelligence in Capgemini, and then this opportunity came through. So that's how it got started. I joined Deloitte. I come from, perhaps most of the audience could relate to. I come from a very a middle class background, with all dreams and aspirations to make a career post engineering and MBA. I did my schooling from places like Sendwa, Khandwa, Ujjain. Did my engineering from Indore, and you know very well, we
Right.
both share the
The
same alma
same
mater.
environment.
So we did it from SVITS at that
Yes.
time,
Right.
this Shri Vaishno Institute of Technology and Science, and then went on to do my MBA from ICFI Hyderabad, ICFI Business School Hyderabad, and then went on to travel
So,
this
so
journey.
your specialization in MBA was into finance.
That was finance and marketing,
So
both.
this is sounding quite interesting that coming from an engineering background and then doing MBA in finance and then starting career with IT company, then going into Big Four, and then today you are an entrepreneur. So I think there is so much exciting milestones that you have, and it's really inspiring to hear that.
I think. I mean, that is the reason for what I am doing today.
Mm,
The answer to your second question, how did Wisdom Weavers happened, or
mm,
what am I doing currently? Over these years and post my tenure with Deloitte, and I worked with Deloitte twice. So
mm,
briefly, I was with KPMG for 1 year.
mm,
Uh, did a global role in competitive intelligence, and then I was asked to come back to Deloitte. So I
mm,
proudly say that, because my leader came back to me, trusted me with a new role in
mm,
an entirely different function.
mm.
So earlier I was working on consulting, competitive intelligence, and in my second tenure I was on the audit and advisory,
Oh,
competitive
oh.
intelligence and strategy
And I
development.
think I think that's one of the profile as well for this Deloitte is coming, right?
Yes,
So you have
yes.
worked in that profile. Superb. I think our audience will get goosebumps about it because we are going to appear for the interviews for one of the profile in which you have directly worked. So very, very excited again. I think exciting is increasing with time. The more you are sharing, the more we are getting excited, Gunjan sir. So the first thing with Deloitte was for 4 years, or how much time it was for?
It was for 5 years.
5 years. Okay.
Yeah, and then the
Right.
second tenure was 7 years. So
Okay,
if I
sir.
go by numerology, if I would have worked third time, I would have perhaps worked for 9 years. But
So total 12
unfortunately,
years in Deloitte, right? 1 year in
yes,
KPMG.
yes,
Wonderful.
yes,
Wonderful.
yes.
Oh my God. So you must have seen the company evolving, right? If I'm not wrong, then you would have seen
Yes,
how the company has changed because I think before 2010 and now, if we see there's a huge change in the work culture and the way corporate operates, and I'm very sure having worked there for 12 years, you have seen the company evolve. Today, Deloitte is more than 4.5 lakhs, right?
yes,
Yes.
yes. So when I started with Deloitte, I'm talking about 2006. The same year, Deloitte USI, and let me
Hmm.
clarify,
Correct.
Deloitte USI is the offshore unit of Deloitte US. and most of these roles, most of these participants are appearing for are for USI. They are
Okay.
not for Deloitte India. So Deloitte India is a separate member firm than Deloitte USI, wherein you work on global projects, wherein you work with global clients and client teams, and deliver those projects from here or either on site, depending on the roles how they evolve over a period of time. Deloitte India caters to the domestic business of all the clientele in India. So, if Deloitte India is working in, it would mean they are working with Indian corporates, providing the audit or taxation or consulting services to Indian domestic clients. So, be
Mhm.
it Mahindra or be it
Mhm.
Tata's, or
Mhm.
all of these corporations perhaps have one of the big fours as their auditors. So that is the difference. So Deloitte USA at that time was roughly about 6,500 or 7,000 people in 2006. The same year we celebrated 7K milestone,
Mhm.
and over the next I would say 13 to 14 years, by 2019, by 2020, it was roughly about 70,000. So grown
Mhm. Mhm.
tenfold
10 times.
during
Right.
these.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So, sir, this Deloitte USA and Deloitte India, are there any other subsidiaries as well? Like, or it's just two?
Uh, so we need to understand a major difference between the big fours or any of these professional services firms. These are referred to as professional services firms.
Mm-hmm.
These are not consulting, these are not auditing companies, but professional services firms,
Mm.
and they are structured in a membership organization, in a partnership organization,
Okay.
rather than a corporation.
Okay.
And that also differentiates them in terms of their work culture as well. So most of us are MBA students. We would have studied organizational behavior, at least as one subject in first or second sem.
Mm.
We could relate to it. We have talked about multiple structures of organizations. So
Mhm.
Deloitte or professional services firms, or for that matter, any of these consulting firms like McKinsey, Bain, Boston Consulting Group, or BCG, all
Mhm.
of these are partnership firms wherein uh,
Mhm.
there are signing partners, profiteering partners, and they observe a matrix structure rather than a top down structure. So
Okay.
if you go to Infosys, TCS, all of them are corporations, and they typically follow a top down structure
Right.
in terms of their organization structure.
Correct.
And that also throws a lot of opportunities and challenges for candidates to really sustain a career in firms like Deloitte, because in a metric structure at the same time you are reporting to multiple people.
Mhm.
Your performance manager could be different from your project manager, and you might be assigned to multiple projects at a single point in time. So you
Right.
need to manage all of them. Or during a year, you might be working on, say, three, four projects.
Mhm.
And by the end of the year, or whenever the regular appraisal cycle happens,
Mhm.
you would actually be taking feedbacks. Your performance will be reviewed by different project managers at different point in time.
Oh, all
So
right.
that always keeps you on the toes.
On the toes.
And
Absolutely.
that is a
Yeah.
great opportunity as well,
Uh,
to learn and grow with so many leaders together.
okay. This is something I didn't know. Yeah. Great. So that way, this metric structures makes different firms like Deloitte India, Deloitte USA, and perhaps
Yes.
Deloitte Australia and others as well, right?
Yes. So Deloitte USI was initially set up by investment from Deloitte US,
Okay.
and these firms operate in territorial rights. So when you have Deloitte India, Deloitte US,
Hmm.
uh, Deloitte US, to set up an office in India, they would need to pay royalty to Deloitte India as well. They
Oh.
cannot cross their territories.
Hmm.
So these shared services operations like Deloitte USI, which is essentially referred to as GCC, Global
Right.
Captive Center
Right.
for Deloitte. It
Right.
started with US and gradually expanded to all the geographies.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
whichever member firm was interested in procuring services from USI,
Mm-hmm.
because USI was becoming the hub for talent, innovation, all the skills, and obviously the cost benefit advantage which the firms could derive from Indian talent. That's how other member firms also kind of onboarded a USI ship. And today, when somebody is joining Deloitte, in all likelihood, they may be serving US. They may also be serving other countries in
Mm-hmm.
Europe or say
Mm-hmm.
Australia for that matter.
Oh, okay. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Great. So, so this is how all the big four operate. So this is the typical way, or it's just with Deloitte.
Yes. No, that's the structure everybody operates with. Just that Deloitte was or Deloitte had the first mover advantage
Mm-hmm.
in setting up the offshore unit in India.
Mm-hmm.
Others followed through later. So KPMG Global Services started much later than Deloitte. You have PwC also having shared services center in Kolkata and Bangalore. You have Ernst and Young, which was a wonderful and aggressive story of
Mm-hmm.
replicating beautifully what Deloitte did.
Correct.
And Ernst and Young have their operation, or ENY as it is
Mm-hmm.
referred to. They
Mm-hmm.
have their operations in Gurgaon, Bangalore, Kochi, uh, Trivandrum, and so on. So they have also expanded beautifully.
So I think Deloitte has pioneered all this, right? Deloitte is the
Yes.
leader among all the big four, right?
Yes,
You can
yes.
say that.
And globally,
Perfect.
also, Deloitte is the number one
Mm-hmm.
professional services firm. If you go by the
Mm-hmm.
total revenues as well, globally, Deloitte either is number one or number two, depending on every year how it
Mm-hmm.
is, the business mix is changing. But yes,
And is it possible to also transition from Deloitte USA to Deloitte India, or is it something like no, you cannot?
no, it does exist. Those opportunities also exist.
This okay.
We need to understand the difference between both the firms and the nature of work, how it will change. So,
Mm-hmm.
when you are working in Deloitte USI, you are perhaps three steps away from the client.
Okay.
You will have a client team or a partner in the US.
Right.
He will have a client team in the US. Then there
Right.
will be a mirror team in India,
Correct.
and in mirror team you will be a part somewhere when you start your career, perhaps three steps down,
Right.
before you actually
In
start interacting with the client
right.
or get
Right.
involved in the client meetings.
Correct. Correct.
So that is the structure you follow when it is USI. When
Right.
it comes to Deloitte India, any of these roles would be very different in Deloitte India setup, because you will actually be working on client projects.
Thanks.
You will need to be facing the client very early
Mm-hmm.
in your career.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, there are plus and minuses of both. So those who get excited by live projects, working directly with the clients, understanding their business issues, challenges, and resolving them, be it tax or be it consulting or audit, they might want to kind of really pursue a career with Deloitte India,
Uh,
versus someone who wants to develop a global expertise, knowledge in technology, processes, industry compliance, industry trends, would see a profitable career in USA. And the most important aspect which differentiates both of them is the pay scale. So when you're working for Deloitte India, the pay scale is likely to be a little less,
okay.
because the clients would be billed in rupees, and you will be paid
Mm-hmm.
in rupees. So the
Correct.
cost advantages, or the dollar versus rupee advantage goes off, and
Right.
that's the reason you might have a better pay scale or salary
Right.
in Deloitte USI than Deloitte India.
That's a good news for the audience that because it's Deloitte USA which is coming for the placement, not Deloitte India. So on the pay side, it would be relatively higher. So good thing, sir. I now just wanted to ask some questions on our audience behalf because
Sure.
many times panel asks, what do you know about the company? And now you just said it is Deloitte is not a consulting firm. It's a professional service firm, right?
Yes,
So what
yes.
do you mean by professional service firm, and what kind of professional services are included, are offered by the company? All the audience, this is a very important question, that for the interview, because a panel would want to know what you know about the company, and that is where it is very important to understand what all kind of businesses that they do and how do they define themselves. Yeah.
So uh, we need to understand the difference between any particular service being provided. It could be technology, it could be
Hmm.
business consulting, it could be taxation,
Right.
it could be audit. Uh,
Hmm.
Audit, per se, if you look at the set of businesses, audit is one of the most complicated businesses
Right.
to be in, because that is very much regulated.
Hmm.
Also, audit is supposed to be and
Hmm.
is has to be an independent profession.
Correct.
No, when you are certifying financials of a company, you need to be independent in certifying those, and any anomaly in the finances should be brought out, should be shared while signing the audit report.
Correct.
Now, this is an independent profession versus everything else is a consulting business, or is an advisory
Hmm.
business where you see
Hmm.
profit based on the outcomes.
Right.
No, be no like tax filing could be compliance, but
Hmm.
that compliance is only to get the taxations filed.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you are advising the client to be, one is compliant with the taxes, and
Hmm.
also perhaps to save them the taxes or the dollars they could save from their current structures or operations. Now, coming to how or why these are referred to as professional services firm, because of their primary business as being audit. Uh,
Okay.
if any of these participants analyze all of these big four and see their revenue breakups,
Hmm.
the majority of the business for these firms came from audit, and that's how it started as professional services
Right.
business.
Right.
And then over a period of time, the taxation, the risk and
Consulting,
advisory consulting business uh,
technology.
took shape, and
Right.
technology as part of their consulting business.
Right.
Now, also, all of these participants should understand that the companies like Deloitte or the other big fours, while at one time they are doing profession which is independent, which has to be independent, but the other set of services they are providing are all profit related.
Hmm.
And it would be very interesting for participants to know that this one is a conflict of interest, and that has led to fall of the biggest professional services firm, which was Arthur and Anderson.
Hmm.
Now they go back in history and read about it, 2001 2003 time. There were scandals like WorldCom, and which led to Accenture being formed as a consulting venture, while the auditing firm has to go bankrupt because of the liabilities they took on. So, as I said, each territory is a partnership, and it is a limited liability partnership, LLPs.
Right.
So partners share a liability, and if something goes wrong with the client, and the membership firm is sued, they can actually go to the extent of going into bankruptcy.
Right.
And that's what happened. If you remember, there was another scandal in 2010, that was Satyam, 2009 or
Satyam.
10.
Yeah. Yeah. I think PwC was looking after it.
Yes,
Right.
yes. And in such cases, the auditor and the follow-on cases were that PwC was banned from practice for few years.
Right.
That particular partner who certified the audits of the company,
Correct.
uh, was rendered,
Mm.
what you say, not eligible to sign any further audits.
Correct.
That is the risk of that audit business.
Right.
So over a period of last 20 years, all of these firms have very carefully drawn lines between what is the audit service they are providing and what are the other services they are providing. And there are very strict regulations around it in the US and other parts of the world. There are rotations. So US companies cannot have an auditor for more than 4 years. They need to change the auditor,
Okay.
not just the signing partner, but they need to
Mm.
change the auditor itself.
Oh.
uh, in India, it was implemented in very very shallow fashion, wherein we can just change the partner. So Deloitte can remain on the board of as an auditor for the same company, but the signing partner would change from Deloitte. That is where India stands in terms of compliance to that, while US has a very strong view on that. So that's how all this has evolved, and that perhaps that is how these big fours came into play. uh, we are talking about big fours, but there were and there are I think they are also known as little six after the big fours. I may not be able to recall all six names, but some of the students might have heard about Grant Thornton,
Okay. Mm.
another one being BDO. BDO is another firm,
Mm.
and so there are these are little six firms, and
I think
uh,
that's a good question that can be asked as well in the interview. So all the participants who are going to appear for the interview know about Little Six as well, not just the Big Four. I think that can be a quick, impressive answer if you can name all the Little Six also.
even if you don't refer to them as little six, you can say that beyond big four, the professional services industry has few more players, and these are growing players in India.
Right.
So let me tell you, the ones who are looking to make a career in Big Four, the journey need not be directly with Deloitte. The journey could also go through the
Mm.
other smaller firms and then
Right.
entering into Deloitte.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
that is perhaps a tip for all the ones who are getting nervous with ki, I have my interview with Deloitte.
Right.
Oh God, it should happen. What if it does not happen? My piece of advice to them would be that this is a good opportunity for you, but this is not the last chance to make a career with Deloitte. There are other career paths through which you can get into Deloitte.
Correct.
Uh,
I think it's a
by
big
the way,
ecosystem.
Grant
Yeah.
Thornton has set up an office in Indore as well,
Right. Right.
uh,
Yes. Yes.
and I think that is their India firm, and that's how they are referring to it as Grant Thornton Bharat is the name of the firm. So
Correct.
that is similar to Deloitte India.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think it is also one of the recruiter in the top MBA colleges of Indore. Grant Thornton, I
Yes.
remember last time it came.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So I think now, sir, it would be good if you can take us through the detail of the job description for different roles, how they
Mhm.
are different, and what the panels and the companies will be looking, for the different roles. Because the common problem that I see here, is that students are doing their MBA into support, finance, home marketing, or e-commerce or business analyst, and these roles are not directly related to that. The roles are a part of a subset of that, or maybe it's an integration of two things, technology and the role. So basically that is where is the biggest confusion among the students, that they are not able to understand the different roles per se and different job descriptions, because many things that they are finding over there has not been taught to them into the core finance, core marketing kind of roles. So if you can just simplify that for our participants.
Sure. Uh, So before getting into each of the JDs or job descriptions or the functions they belong to, I would like to highlight one fact that the entire MBA program we might have gone through is definitely not designed to meet the needs of Deloitte, right?
Right.
So there is likely to be, and not just Deloitte for that matter, any of the companies who come in, because these are not industry aligned or say company sponsored or co-developed with any of these companies.
Right.
So yes, we will have that challenge with almost all the recruiters except for maybe some of the marketing companies or
Correct.
BFSI
Mhm.
recruiters. So we need to definitely kind of bridge the gap,
Mm.
understand what is the difference, what we
Mm.
know, and what they are asking for, and how
Mm.
to prepare for that.
Right.
So the only way to get out of this is preparation,
Mm.
understanding that job role
Mm.
correctly,
Mm.
what you will be expected to do on a perhaps day-to-day basis,
Mm.
and based on that, appearing for those interview
Mm.
interactions.
Right.
Coming to say audit for that matter.
Mm.
Now, these the JD which is being shared and which for which the companies or Deloitte is coming to recruit for is not just audit. It is actually audit and assurance
Right.
technology,
Right.
and that makes it a little complicated to understand. Key,
Correct.
uh, no, this is
Uh,
audit or this is technology.
Technology. Yeah.
So we need to understand audit has got two parts to it. One is external audit, and second is internal audit.
Right.
External audit is the one which I was referring to when a
Mm.
partner has to certify the financials of the company or the corporate governance reports. Internal audit is nothing but more of internal controls and internal compliance which the companies has to follow, which has been advised by the regulators in their respective countries. And to meet that, there is a lot of technology which is involved. So you talk about, say, some of the most regulated industries in the world are BFSI, banking or insurance,
Correct.
pharmaceuticals.
Correct.
These two are perhaps are the most regulated, and the third one could be gambling and gaming, which India recently banned on, but they are prevalent in other parts of the world. Now, they have a lot of internal compliance to be managed regularly. Those internal checks and balances to be conducted. No, for example, we have seen in 2008 or 10, 2008 to 10 period, there was a global slowdown,
Correct.
and that was initiated because of innovative banking product, and that kind of took all the banks into a challenge. And post that, the Basel II norms came in, and a lot of internal controls were suggested by the regulator, not just suggested, but actually, they were audited, started auditing the banking and insurance companies to check if the bank is likely to go under stress if any of the products or any of the economies or the current assets and liabilities of that BFSI company are exposed to what level of risk. That has been referred to as stress testing. So all of these Wells Fargo's, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, all the global investment banks we talk about, all of them had to implement testing norms, and all these are part of their internal audits, part of risk and controls as well. And that's where this technology comes into play. So when you talk about audit and assurance technology, it is essentially the technology which is assisting in the internal controls, internal audits of the company. Now there can be multiple parts to it. It could be the risk could be financial, the risk could be regulatory, the risk could be cyber, and I believe the job role which has been shared, there are a lot of cyber risk components have been mentioned
Right.
uh, from an internal audit or from a technology perspective. So here the the candidate perhaps would be part of team, where the team is looking at internal controls, internal audit of the company with respect to cyber risk. So there would be checks and balances, processes to be followed, steps to be done to ensure that the clients' ERPs, clients' systems and controls are in place. So for that, a lot of technology has evolved. There are checklists to be followed, and those technology tools need to be looked at. For example, for a particular client, today, the analysis could be of even social media discussions
Right.
as to what is being discussed about that particular company, and that NLP is applied there to understand if there is a likely risk to the reputation of the client. So, cyber risk could also include the reputation risk which the client might be exposed to as
Right.
part of whatever social media discussions are happening
Right.
as of that month or period.
Right. Correct. Sir, I think this is matlab, honestly quite complicated. It was not
Yes.
very, straightforward to understand. And I think not everybody who is appearing for the interview, is privileged enough to get the understanding from somebody who has worked in Deloitte. So in this scenario, what would be the recruiter's expectation, from the candidates? Because the roles is something they will only come to know in detail when they start working about it,
Yes.
working for it. Because as of now, it is little complicated because you need to understand the entire ecosystem, and that is where you will be able to understand. Okay, this is what it is about. All right.
Yes.
So, what is that at this stage that candidate should prepare, which they will be assessed? So what is your suggestion about it?
A candidate should approach this in a very practical way. The recruiters are very well aware that they are hiring a fresher uh, who is perhaps in the second year or third semester of the MBA,
Correct.
has hardly completed the MBA as well.
Right.
So forgetting about knowing everything about Deloitte and the internal controls,
Right.
right? So they do have realistic expectations. They are not expecting you to be expert on internal audit. They are not expecting you to be knowing everything about everything written in the job description.
Mm.
What participants should find their peace in is if they have cleared the elimination round, which is the assessments.
Correct.
So for some of these roles, the assessment was about aptitude testing,
Right.
and for the other role, which is tax, it was about Versant and
Version.
the business proficiency test.
Right.
Now, based on this only, we can guess what are they looking for.
Right.
So, for a tax role, clearing Versant is a requirement, which means communication skills has to be at a level
Right.
where they are expecting it to be, and that is
Right.
one of the minimum requirements they are looking at.
Okay.
Once communication is tested, they are looking at some of the business proficiency, wherein whether the candidate has an understanding of accounting concepts, Excel functions, and a little bit of logical reasoning and aptitude. Once you are through with this, then they are looking, or you are already a person who possesses the sufficient level of communication skills to really perform in that role, uh, a basic level of business proficiency, and now they are looking at as to, let's see, what kind of attitude, what kind of other skill set the candidate brings in.
Mm.
Is he or she well read about the job role? Does he or she uh, you know you know is the person inclined to really take up a role like this? Has he or she put in any effort to understand what Deloitte is and what the job role is?
Right.
So by that I mean, for tax candidates, when you look at the job role, if it is about business taxation or individual taxation, You are working, or you're serving clients who belong to other countries, and they need to follow the tax procedures prevalent there. So for sure, if you have a little bit of knowledge about how that taxation is different from Indian taxation, if you have studied that as part of your finance, or at least analyze or understand the broad differences between, say, Indian GAAP and US GAAP, because those are the accounting procedures while filing returns. I mean, those are the ones which are followed. So some of these basic things can really help you project yourself that yes, one is I am interested in this role. Second is, because of my interest, I've explored it, put in some effort to learn about it, and I'm eager to get going on this. I'm eager to learn more about it. All of these participants would be put through boot camps or trainings when they join. So that's where they would learn about the exact tools, technology, procedures to be followed as part of their job role. A lot of simulation would happen when they join the projects. Also, there'll be initial period when they'll be maybe shadowing someone, and then gradually getting onto a project.
Right.
So all that is planned for them. So they don't need to worry about that. Okay, no, would they be asking all of this in my interview? No, they wouldn't really be.
Correct.
But yes, what is mentioned in the JD, now that you know of it, it is good to prepare as much as you can about it. Like
Right.
for example, when you talk about internal audit or the audit and assurance one, there's a bit of SOX compliance which is mentioned. SOX compliance is nothing but Sarbanes-Oxley compliance. That's how Sarbanes-Oxley Act came in 2001, 2002, when that Anderson and the uh, WorldCom scandal happened. Those set of compliances came from there. So it is good to know about what is SOX, what are some of the two, three important mandates under SOX. Then there is another requirement which is mentioned, SSAE 16. Now, these are terms which are given in the JD. So if and if we are aware about the JD and the terms and terminologies therein mentioned, it would be a good idea to really explore it. Have a 2-3 line answer to showcase that yes, you are prepared, and you know some of the basic things which are there in the JD.
Right. And I think we got some understanding from you as well, at least, those who are attending this session. So this is something about taxation. What about the other roles like audit assurance? Like what should they know beyond just the, like, for example, taxation is about accounting. So what about audit assurance and technology?
Audit assurance only has the SOX and SSAE
Acha,
16.
okay, okay,
Yes, yes. The ones who have got the technology as part of it, or cyber risk and so on, are or even the one which is in consulting. Yes, I'm coming to consulting for that matter. Uh, as I said, you are working on client teams perhaps 3 level down. You're
right.
working on client projects perhaps 3 level down,
Mm,
and uh, all of these clients for these firms belong to different industries. So such and I need to understand the nature of the business. Consulting business is the one where you need to showcase your knowledge, you need to show leadership in that industry to really get the client on board. You need to say that we are the experts in this industry. We know healthcare well, than anybody else in the market. And for that, a lot of knowledge has to be developed and rolled out. You need to be predicting what will happen to healthcare industry in future, what all things will come, what innovation is happening in each of these industry. And for that, you need to continuously keep reading about the trends in the industry, what leading companies are doing, what new innovations they are coming up with, how technology is transforming it, how AI is changing the healthcare scenario. These are some of the trends and how it is impacting the industry. Now, a candidate in consulting is likely to be working on some of the clients, understanding their industry domain, what kind of challenges they are going through, and develop that industry practice. Also, consulting is about as is versus the aspiration. So, if the client today has certain conditions on in a business domain, perhaps their procurement. Now, if they've reached out to the Deloitte Consulting to transform their procurement process, what would happen is Deloitte would go as a consultant to understand what exists today, how the procurement is happening today, versus what it should be,
Right.
either aligning it to the industry levels or industry standards, or how Deloitte can propose that you should transform because next 20 years would be like this.
Right.
So these candidates would essentially be looking at those clients, making those notings, or what you say, analyzing the client business to one is document what is the current stage of the client, that okay, this process exists, this process does not exist, the current procurement happens like this, and there are tools to
Right.
support this.
Right.
So none of this has to be done on their own, but there would be assisted tools through which they'll be doing it. But yes, at the same time, they would be required to read a lot about how technology is impacting businesses, how new trends like AI is impacting businesses, and
Hmm.
how different clients are taking different actions in their own industries.
Hmm.
So it is a knowledge based role where you need to read a lot, analyze a lot of reports, study a lot of reports, and then suggest solutions appropriate to that particular client.
But if you have to suggest few questions about consulting role, that what as a panel, few questions can be asked. So what would be them on the top of your mind?
Uh, it could be some of the recent trends in any industry.
Okay.
It could be India also, because
Hmm.
maybe not every candidate would be reading about what is happening in US healthcare industry or what is happening in US FMCG industry. But
Hmm.
if you could tell with respect to, say, maybe cement industry for that matter
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
India,
Hmm.
how it
Right.
is transforming, how it is changing.
Hmm.
If you
Hmm.
could give some examples of how perhaps Adani versus no Ultratech is going on, how are
Right.
they changing, what new processes innovation they are bringing into the industry. So
Right.
any such readings where you can showcase knowledge
Hmm.
about a particular segment.
Hmm.
You can always say, I'm not very well read about all the industries in India,
Right.
but I briefly checked on this particular industry, and these are my observations, that
Correct.
Indian cement industry is undergoing this transformation. One,
Right.
two, three.
Right. Right. Perfect. So I think we have got a good clarity about different roles and what kind of questions can be asked. I just want to ask one question that many students have come to me, that what kind of okay, somebody is also asking about GPS. You have not touched upon GPS, so Rishabh is asking. So could you throw
Mhm.
some light on GPS, please?
I'm so sorry, but I have not looked through the JD
GD
of
of
GPS. If you
GPS.
could just expand the acronym also, that would be helpful. Or else you could just mention few things from there. Uh, while you do that, or while you search for that,
Hmm.
let me help the candidates understand this. These are some of the terms and terminologies which are internally formed as a team to serve a particular need of Deloitte. Many of these are support services for client teams. So just like there for sure there is a global immigration services, okay, GIS.
So GPS is Gunjan sir, government and public services.
Government and public services. So this refers to all the clients which belong to government and public sector in US.
This is
Now,
in, I think this is for USI, yeah.
yes, yes.
USI, USI.
So this is for the government and federal contracts, and let me tell you, US federal government is one of the biggest client for each of these professional services firms. Uh, so US government spends a lot on the federal contracts, and there are very strict regulations around what can be done within US and what can be done outside US. So government public services or government and public services, this particular team itself is very nascent. It has perhaps started in 2018-19, when Deloitte could actually identify what all services can be offshored from some of these federal contracts, and which are permissible by the US government, which can be done outside. So it will again be support services or supporting the government client projects. It could be ERP implementations out there. It could be, so for sure it is not about audit. It is not about tax. So
Right.
it is mostly about consulting and technology.
Right. Right. Correct. Perfect. So, sir, what are the few things that a student must have in his resume, in order to crack this, interviews? Like few things, if you have to say, if you have to mention any three, so what would be them?
Uh, That's a challenging question because most of these candidates have filled in their resume in a particular format with while applying to Deloitte.
Right.
So there is a format in which all of these would have filled in their information.
Right.
So for sure, the set of information which you have already provided to the firm would be available to the recruiter as well. But
Right.
then I'm sure there are a lot of things which are not there in the resume in that format.
Mm,
For example, hobbies. Some of
mm,
them may not have mentioned it in their, say, extracurricular or co-curricular activities.
mm,
Maybe they may not have mentioned all the projects or internships they have done. No,
mm.
might have mentioned a couple of them, and so
Right.
on. So one is be thorough with what you have already provided, because that already exists with them.
Mm,
So anything which is written in the resume, you should be reading it word by word. What all follow-up questions can be asked from those statements which you have made there, be it in terms of certifications you have completed, be it in terms of trainings you have undergone, or the skills you might have mentioned.
mm.
Make sure that you have enough examples to prove that you have it, and justify that. So be prepared on that, because that information already resides with them. Beyond that, if you have missed something which is critical and relevant to the job profile, start making a note of it. You will come through a lot of stories. For example, if somebody is very good in music or playing instruments, USI does have their own band performances. You should be definitely highlighting that what all other talent you have got, and what all you can bring to the table. So you will not just be an employee who is completing his work or her work, but would also be contributing to the entire team by different means. You could be a sports person. Make sure that you are highlighting that in your interview, if it is not already mentioned in the resume.
I
But for
think
you to, yeah,
this reminds me of the culture part, right? Since you mentioned
yes,
about the
yes.
musical band, so how is the culture at Deloitte, and what is few things that you want to share with, you like the best in your tenure?
I would say very active and a lively, thriving work culture. Yes, I'm sure it would have changed a bit post COVID as well, because there has been a lot of transitions
Mm,
each of the professionals have gone through, and the most references I would have would be prior to COVID rather than post COVID.
mm.
But at the same time, you cannot really change the skeleton of
Correct.
a
Yeah.
of a organization like this.
Right. Right.
So that remains the same.
Mm,
You have enough opportunities to grow yourself personally, professionally. There would never be a dearth of trainings and skilling opportunities you can get
mm,
there, for sure. One so before I digress, I would rather answer the previous question which you had. What are the three things which could make a difference?
Correct. Right.
And
Yeah.
I went into the resume and the preparation
Yeah.
part.
Right.
But those three things could be: one, being ready to skill up. And
Mm,
this started not just after COVID. This was a trend, or this was something which was already
mm,
happening
mm,
right from 2018-19, that Deloitte adopted an approach where talent can be utilized across different skills and competencies. So for everyone, there was a need to develop a complementary competency over a period of time. So, if you are known for, say, one particular technology, you need to learn the next one as well,
right.
because there could be client projects where maybe you may not be deployable if you know only this technology. The other technology could be more prominent. So that way, when you talk about, say, audit and assurance, somebody good in cyber risk should also develop something with respect to, say, AI. So they only suggest that that if this is what your competency is, develop the second one as well, so that
Right.
you are more deployable, billable, uh,
Upskilling. Yeah.
upskilling.
Right.
So that
Right.
was already undergoing. So one of the things you should definitely highlight, that yes, I'm a continuous learner.
Right.
I like developing myself. I want to
Mm,
continue to develop my skills.
mm,
That is one thing. If you could highlight through your
mm.
resume, through your recent experiences, that would be wonderful. And at least commit for it. That yes, I'm really looking forward to learn new skills and develop myself, not just on one skill, but a set of skills.
Right.
So that would be a good sign to have a long-term career with Deloitte. That yes, you are continuously developing and making yourself relevant to the firm. So that is one thing you should highlight. Second is interpersonal skills, or networking, because as I said, it's a metrics organization, wherein you would be dealing with multiple project managers during the year. Uh, yes, some of you might be working with maybe one project manager if it's a long-term project for a couple of years, but otherwise you are likely to be working or contributing to different projects, and that's where interpersonal skills or networking could be one area which participants should look to highlight and justify it. Not just for the purpose of saying it that I'm very good in interpersonal skills, but also if somebody cross questions you that okay, can you please share an example where have you shown interpersonal skills? You should have a ready example that yes, I am working as so and so, or as part of my internship I work with so many people, coordinated with so many things, and so on. So that would be second thing, that interpersonal skills and networking. uh, Third is to show genuine interest in the job role you are going for, and have a purpose why you want to work with Deloitte. And that cannot be incidental, that Deloitte was coming to campus, I applied, I got selected, and I am here. No, it has to be part of your bigger plan, that yes, I was aiming for this. Over the next 5 years, this is how I want to see myself, and this role fits into that plan. So that is a path I'm out to chart, and Deloitte is, and this job role is falling into that plan. That is the reason I'm here. So if you
Perfect.
can articulate that well, that would showcase that it is not just the brand name you are going after. It has got a role to play in your career.
Perfect. I think now we can be back on that the culture part, and
Yes.
yeah. So having mentioned the
So
three things, yeah.
yes, I mean, uh, be it your personal growth in terms of bonds or friendship you develop with the fellow team members. Most of these clients, especially the tax ones. So tax has a very different culture, wherein tax has a busy season and a non-busy season. Now, busy season is referred to as everything wherein either the quarter ends or the year ends in the US. Now, year ends in December, and post that, all of these tax people would be day and night busy for perhaps 4 to 5 months, 6 months, working on taxation, because there are hard deadlines to be met in the next quarter. So December 31st is the year ending for most of the corporations in the US, and March 31st would be the deadline to file their taxes and so on. So those 3 months would be very critical. In some cases, the next 3 months as well, and those are the days when you might perhaps be working for 12 hours, 16 hours at a stretch. Yes, you'll be handled with care. So you will have all your lunches, breakfast, and all the gifts vouchers ready with you. You'll be rewarded enough for all the hard work you'll be doing, and you'll be very pleased that that would be like that would perhaps make you feel like a king. That no, what am I doing that I am treated so well?
Right.
So you will have that feeling because of the hard work you'll be putting in, and that one cycle would make you equipped enough to really take on the next cycle with ease. You would already be experienced. You would be working with multiple teams. So that is perhaps on the taxation, but otherwise also on other all other client teams, they would have their regular parties, team specific parties, function specific parties. There was a time when Deloitte party used to be the talk of the town in Hyderabad, where 12,000, 14,000 people would celebrate at one day uh, in High-Tech's exhibition center, HICC.
Right.
But now that is not possible because of the huge volumes of numbers. But
Mm.
that happens at the smaller, what you say, function levels or
Right.
particular team levels. So, for example, GPS may have multiple teams, and teams may celebrate at regular intervals. So there are budgets already allocated to the leaders of those functions, and they need to make those parties happen. So yes, you will have fun filled life out there. The ones who are perhaps or most of you perhaps would join either Hyderabad or maybe one of the other locations. Hyderabad for sure, I can vouch for. You will have a good nightlife, very secure city. You will have a lot of fun going in and around Hyderabad, and venturing into the entire South India if you want to. So yes, I mean that throws up a lot of what do you say, lot of opportunities to really grow personally and professionally.
Perfect. So I think I have a last question, then I will open the forum for the participants to ask you directly. So what
Yes.
are some red flags that students should avoid, absolutely, in order to, make a bad impression or get rejected? So few red flags that you would like to highlight.
Okay. Uh, so I refer to it as either CLM, career limiting move, or
Mm.
suicide attempts.
Mm.
Uh, that you put in uh, you plant a bomb and you walk over it.
Right,
That's
right,
how I put it. Uh, I think I won't say playing it safe, but keeping it contextual. So you are appearing for an interview for a particular job role with a company, and I'm sure a lot of things is playing on your mind that what if I'm not selected? What if I'm selected? My life would be very different. What if I'm not selected? And because of these things, you end up trying to be acting different, trying to overdo things, or venture into areas which you shouldn't have. Uh, Perhaps any negative news about Deloitte, if you bring up and ask questions about it, for that matter, not just Deloitte, any organization uh, where there has been some controversy or anything, you should avoid that for sure. Second, if you have a uh, if you have someone working with Deloitte, whom you know, refer to them as seniors or friends of your what you say siblings or cousins who are working there. You can refer to them as that rather than your own relatives or cousins, because that might lead to maybe certain questions wherein you might not have answers for, like okay, if you say that my brother is working there or my cousin is working there, and they may ask you, okay, in what role, in what function, and you might go no blank over it if you really
Right.
don't know that.
Right.
So if there is a distant cousin, you might have spoken like no 1 year back, you know that he or she is working with Deloitte. It is better to not mention that rather than mentioning it, because that will lead to few set of follow up questions. So
Right.
my simple advice to everyone would be, whatever you are planning to speak, think about all the follow up questions which can come from there,
Right.
right? Now, some of the questions for sure which can come and which everybody should be prepared for is, what if you are not selected today? Now, uh, some of us may go blank at that moment, and it is better to be prepared that yes, it is a good opportunity. I really worked hard to come here and appear for this interview. But yes, if I may not be meeting the requirements of the role or the skill sets required at present, I would work over it for the next couple of years, and I would really want to come back to Deloitte and start my career there or shape up my career with Deloitte. So something like that. Not everybody has to say the same answer, but yes, what I'm essentially telling everyone is, some of these questions which can come as a googly or you're
Hmm.
not prepared for
Hmm.
can throw you off the track. So the more you are guided, the more you are playing to the pitch, the better it would be.
Right. Perfect. I think thank you so much, Gunjan. Those were very relevant suggestions. So I just have a small question. So since this is for the US office, they have to work in the US hours. Is that true or
Not for all the roles.
okay?
It definitely can be for tax, where some shifts might change based on rotation also.
Mm.
uh, but otherwise, yes, for sure it could be late in the night, which is the norm nowadays for any company wherein you are working offshore,
Mm.
because you would need to align your time zones with the teams you're working with.
Right.
So if you're working with US teams, they would be coming live only around 6:30 in the evening. So you
Right.
will need to have some overlap times, and you may
Correct.
have calls running into 10, 11 o'clock in the night.
Mm.
But yes, at the same time, the next day morning, uh, you may have to reach office or start your working maybe by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So depending on the role, the team, and the client project, some of these overlaps could be different.
Perfect. So now we have some questions in the chat box. So I think Ratnesh is asking so many questions. So Ratnesh, I am unmuting you, so you can ask directly to Gunjan sir. Anybody else who wants to ask the question directly to Gunjan sir can raise your hand. Ratnesh, you have been allowed to talk, so you can speak. Ratnesh, you there? Ratnesh, we can't hear you. Okay. So we'll give a chance to Manan. Yeah, Manan, you are also allowed to speak. You can speak. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Hello, am I visible, audible, sir?
You're audible. You're
Yes,
audible.
yes,
By the way, lovely introduction and all to the points were on point. My question was, as you explained the whole complex part of the internal and external. So, like, I am at the early stage to yet I'm a fresher. So, if I just want to understand the whole ecosystem of the company, instead of actually applying and making like have a little impression that I know about your company beforehand already, instead of actually making them go train for it. And so, what could I do to actually understand in detail like their whole process of ecosystem or any company in consulting or auditing?
So, Manan, I think let's be practical. Let's be human. While answering that, let's start with that. Sir, I'm a fresher. I've just started acquiring skills, learning about different job roles, occupations, and the organizations and industry which exist. And I was really fascinated with the job role, and when I dug deeper into it, uh, I got into a whole sea of knowledge and information around internal controls, external controls, how all of this found relevance, how a lot of these compliance acts were formulated in the US back in 2001, 2003, and so on. So tell it like a story. You have just unraveled, and that's the truth. I mean, we cannot be claiming to be an expert on internal controls today or knowing everything about internal controls. So let's be pragmatic, state what it is. Yes, that does not mean that with now after this call you don't read a single word about it and just state whatever has been discussed in this session. Read more about it, frame it in no fluent 2 3 statements or sentences, how you want to share that observation. And I think that would be a good enough starting point to communicate that yes, one is you were eager to learn, and you put in effort to really read about it. Does that answer your question, or
Yes, sir. Of course, it does.
yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ratnesh, you are there, or can you Ratnesh? Okay, I will give a chance to Arpan. I want to ask. There's a mic issue. Okay, Ratnesh, you have a mic issue. Arpan, I have unmuted you. You can speak. Arpan,
Hello, sir.
yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, we can
Yes,
hear you,
yes, sir.
Arpan.
Yes. Every KPMG in our college coming for digital transformation role for consulting. So can I know what kind of question they might ask? Do you have any idea so that I can prepare my speech according to that?
So, Arpan is joining from Kolkata. He's from a
Yes,
different
yes,
college,
yes,
and his question is KPMG is coming for digital consulting role.
yes.
So, what
Digital
kind of
transformation also. Yes.
right?
Arpan, the approach remains the same. Look at the JD. Digital transformation is nothing but as a service. The KPMG team would be looking to transform the client's operations, the technology operations the client have. So it is nothing but as a subset of consulting. You're actually working on digital transformation. Now, digital transformation can have multiple meanings. It could be external to the organization, how the organization is interacting with the vendors, suppliers, or stakeholders of that particular organization, or it could be internal, wherein a lot of employer services, a lot of employee services, or hiring services, recruitment services could be transformed. So depending on where it is being applied, no, that relevance would come in. As part of the preparation, what you could do is, for sure, when it is digital, you need to be knowing certain uh, productivity tools or digital tools. You need to be able to understand what manual processes can be transformed into a digital process if the client is at that stage, or what existing digital processes can be improved upon. So this is more of understanding a business and applying your productivity tools, the internal tools which KPMG would have to transform the client's business. I'm not sure if I answered you the way you were expecting it to be, or
I
No, no,
think
it was good, sir.
what you said,
yeah,
the approach remains the same for everyone.
yes,
So
yes.
that is, I think, is the best answer for upfront. Okay, so I think Ratnesh is having some mic issue, but he's consistently asking about the technology assurance role and what could be the career opportunities. So any idea, Gunjan, about that?
So as I explained, Ratnesh and Saksham, technology assurance is nothing but technology applied in the assurance
Right,
function,
correct, correct.
and assurance is another name for internal audit plus plus services. Okay.
Mm.
Uh, Now, technology adoption across all of these, essentially, you will find your roles in compliance, risk management. So you could be a valuable assets to any organization which is set up, any of the GCCs which has been set up in India. So if you get a chance to work for, say, a banking client, okay, a banking client in either Europe or US, and you're working as part of tech assurance team on this client, you will become a very good candidate, hot potato for firms like Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, JPMC, for their internal compliance teams. So this could snowball into global opportunities on compliance and risk side, and your handle on technology, your grasp on technology could be leveraged in that domain. So yes, for sure, each of these job roles or any of these opportunities which you are seeing through, uh, fortunately or unfortunately for your generation, which is referred to as Gen Z, uh, you would need to have a continuous learning mindset. You will not be working on the same thing for years together. So every 6 months or a year, you would need to develop a new competency, a new skill set, perhaps a new technology, to continue growing and to stay relevant to any organization you work for.
So there's a question from Rishika that is somebody is having a gap year because of government job but doesn't get success. So how to
Mhm.
tackle that question?
Uh, yes, gap could be for multiple reasons, not just for preparation of government jobs. It could be for you know, it could be for family reasons. It could be for that you could not make up your mind on time and lost a year and so on. Uh, my advice would be honest, say it so. If it is a 1 year gap, you can easily sail through. If it has been 2 years, 3 years also, be realistic. Uh, I was attempting to work for government jobs, prepared for government exams, gave exams for 2 years, assessed myself, and took a realistic call that yes, perhaps that is not something I'm meant for. And I met maybe some of the mentors. I met some of my faculties, took their guidance, and then pivoted into this area. Uh, for that matter, I do consider those 2 years as a as a very fruitful journey. 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, whatever. In terms of knowledge, in terms of testing my limits, to put in hard work, which is the quintessential part of any government services exams, and to read a variety of subjects which perhaps I did not pay attention to earlier. So coming out of that journey, I'm much more knowledgeable on some of the history or politics, or geography I can relate to, or for that matter even literature, Hindi, and so on. So you can always give that how
Correct.
you made
Mm.
use of that time, or how it added value to your personality, rather than you yourself putting it as that I wasted 1 year. No, you did not.
Right. Right. Correct. Absolutely, Gunjan. This is something quite practical, and I think most of the students in India aspire for government jobs, and then very few students could make it out. And there is nothing wrong in going for option B when like if something doesn't work as per your expectation. All right, I think Gunjan, I think we have covered so many things, and there are still some questions. But I think you are going to IMS tomorrow, right? If I'm not wrong, you have a
Yes,
in-person
yes,
session.
I did have an interaction today with Avnish sir to perhaps that session would materialize. I'm not updated on that whether it is all, I mean it is all fixed and scheduled. But why don't you also join Saksham? I mean,
Hmm.
uh, I did speak to Avnish sir, but let's connect maybe after the call.
Sure,
Let's both of us add value to these candidates and how best they can do.
sure. And there are questions, but looking at the time, I would restrict it and would like to conclude the call. And I just want to share with all the participants that Gunjan sir is there on LinkedIn. You can connect with him, and then he's also there on TopMate. If you want to book a one-on-one mock interview with Gunjan sir, then you can go to TopMate, and you can find his profile and set up a call. And then he is also into the space of career counseling and career guidance. So if anybody wants to take his professional advice, I think you can very well connect with him, right, sir?
Yes, yes, very much. All of you are welcome. And I would be really happy if I could contribute to your career in any small way. So feel free to be in touch through whatever medium. And if you're there in the campus and if the session is happening tomorrow, for sure, I would try to be there for as much time as I can. I've kept my schedule free for the entire day post that session. So let's take up everything which is left out of this call today.
So all the best to the students who are appearing for Deloitte, and we wish all of you get selected. And
Yes, we would
like,
be really happy to party with you once you get your offer
correct,
letters
yeah,
and once you decide to join as well. Because once you get the offer letter, you start acting pricey as well. So
right, right.
yes, let's find that out over a period of time.
Superb. And so, on behalf of all the participants and Careerkunj, thank you so much for joining in, for sharing your valuable knowledge. Honestly, it was very insightful for me. It was quite complex. JDs were, very, very complex. It was not getting so easy to understand them. But I think you made it simpler for us. And thanks for all the advice. Thank you so much, and a lot of gratitude to you, sir.
Thank you, Saksham, for the opportunity to be there to interact with the students. Uh, Also, wish you luck for Career Kunj, the way it is making headlines, making impact more than headlines, making impact to the lives of young professionals. I'm sure you are on a very good start, and I wish you all success in life and also to Career Kunj.
Thank you so much, sir, and we will look forward for your mentorship for Careerkunj as well. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely. Always there for you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks.
Sakshi.
Thanks, everyone, and all the best.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.